And now I would like to ask you to help me welcome Stuart Mangrum to the stage so we can move into the tribute for our beloved founder, Larry Harvey.
So yeah, it's been a little bit more than a month since we lost our founder, our friend, Larry Harvey. This is the first public event that Burning Man has held since his death. And while we didn't want to make this about him, we didn't want to take the spotlight away from the art and from the amazing artists that you guys showed up to meet and to support, at the same time we thought it'd just be weird if we didn't take a moment to acknowledge the absence of the guy who started all this, and without whom literally none of us would be here tonight. I guess it's customary at times like these to have a moment of silence, but any of you who knew Larry know that he was not the silent type. He was, how can I put this? Let's just say that in the 25 years that I knew Larry Harvey, he was never at a loss for words. We thought for a while, too, about making one of those silent tribute videos like they play at the Oscars, but we couldn't find enough footage of him not saying anything. So we decided to just go with it. And what I'd like us to do now is to take a look at a little bit of footage and to listen to Larry in his own words telling us a little bit about his story. So if we can.
My people originally came from a very small town in Nebraska. It was being raised by Dust Bowl immigrants. I knew a lot about self-reliance. But then coming to San Francisco when I was young, and then later to live there, I walked into this bohemian scene I'd always dreamed of.
I'm a great reader, and I love art.
I was given Origin of Species at the age of 12, read it straight through under a willow tree. I never looked back. Suddenly I could imagine books. I could see it was like windows on a great world where there were voices, people who knew things I didn't know, and worlds I'd never seen. I could even enter the minds of characters when I was reading fiction. And oh, what a release that was, especially for, a kid who was definitely a weirdo.
Pruning trees made sense to me. Get up and get into a relationship with the tree, and then, you cut off its limbs. The time in my life when I started this, I had reached a point of pretty pervasive despair. I wouldn't have hired me. I was a landscaper, which meant that I had a truck. I felt about as isolated and alone as that man looked out in the desert. And sure enough, the world came to him, and it's come to me. It's clear that what we need as social animals, as human beings, are these complex social networks that sustain and surround us. It's about the quality of connection between people. You can't plan a tree's existence, but you can plant it and nurture it and water it. I was always ambitious to make it bigger. I saw 8 people on a beach turn into 800 on a beach by 1990. 80 people turn into 8,000 by 1996. I saw that number quadruple till it's 32,000. And you'll think me a lunatic for saying it, but I think perhaps to millions. They thought I was crazy when I stood here in 1990 and said they'll come. But they did. I don't see why a gift economy can't exist alongside a commercial economy. It does already in families, doesn't it? I mean, if your mother asked you to pick up some milk on the way home, would you charge her for it? The critical use for it today is to reinvent community. Of course, a monumental piece of public art that's primate heaven and allows you to climb with a swarm of other participating parties whom you may or may not know is a wonderful way of breaking the ice, as it were. We're a populist movement, and within it you will find nearly every demographic you can imagine.
We were always a family.
Gift giving is very connective. If I give something to you and you accept it, there's a moral bond between us. We're all in the same lifeboat together. The attraction of fire? To me personally, it's a metaphor for life. What we really want is to be. I think that's the fundamental motive in people, is to be, unconditionally be. Art should imitate life, but I'm not happy till life starts to imitate art. In the context of absolutely nothing, whatever is more intensely so. It's not all sunshine, it's half shadow. And when we get to that point, then sunshine may have its turn. I didn't see a place for myself in the world. If I weren't doing this, God knows. I tremble to think.
We're not hiding from the world, we're trying to change it.
It transforms what it touches. It's brief, heartbreakingly ephemeral. Our own transit through life is like a flame in the night.
Do we have a dream?
Yes, we're going to take over the world.
Salvador Dali once said that the true artist is not the one who is inspired, but the one who inspires others. And by that measure, I think Larry might have been one of the most important artists of our time. If you just count the numbers, I mean, how many people in the world today have made art, have become artists because of his encouragement, because of the support of the organization that he built, because of the millions of dollars that he channeled into art grants to help make that happen. Hundreds, thousands, lots of people. I mean, how many are here tonight? Because Larry believed in us and our potential to be creative. He believed in it enough to create a whole ecosystem of art, a whole parallel universe of art world whose capital is not New York or London, but Black Rock City, our home. Larry's legacy is the work. It's the work that you've seen tonight. It's the work that we're doing. It's the work that we're going to get up tomorrow morning and do more of, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, because, well, the world's just not going to change itself. So, instead of a moment of silence, how about this? Why don't we have a moment of radical self-expression? A moment of joyful noise. Why don't we all just look into ourselves and think about what it is that needs to get out right now, what needs to be expressed. Maybe it's a word or a couple of words. Maybe it's something that can't be said in words. Maybe it's a feeling. Maybe it's a song. Who knows? But think of that thing flying up out of your lungs, past your lips, and shaking the rafters of this beautiful old theater. You ready? Okay, I'm going to count to 3, and we're going to bring down the house, all right? 1, 2, 3. Well, thank you. And thank you, Larry. Big thanks to J.K. Realms and the Profiles and Dust crew for that amazing little video tribute. That's a beautiful gift. Thank you so much. I would hate to be the artist who had to go on after that. So that's why we're going to take a 15-minute intermission. All right, 15 minutes, though. 15 minutes and back in your seats and back to work. Thanks very much.